Mapia Wabero Kinubarome Uganda, we will have the national anthem sung, and later on Acholi anthem.
We further appreciate you for the flagship programs that have been implemented in Operation Wealth Creation, Yoga, Youth Livelihood, Women Fund, NUSAF, Peace and Recovery Program, and above all, the Paris Development Model. Your Excellency, just a brief history that the collapse of the livestock economy in the Acholi sub-region started way back in 1979 during a Amin Liberation War. And by 1988, almost all the livestock in the Acholi sub-region were systematically wiped out. Over the years, Your Excellency, there were about 4 main broad dimensions or categories of how these animals were systematically taken away from the population. Category 1 was by the National Resistance Army. Category 2 was by the rebel group of the Uganda People's Democratic Army. Category 4 was by the Holy Spirit Mobile Force of Alice Lakwena and the Lord's Resistance Army of Joseph Kony. And then category 4 was by the Karamojong. And these cattle, Your Excellency, were either forcefully taken or through signed agreements with the promise that the owners would be compensated after the war. Your Excellency, this issue was included, if you remember, you recall, in the peace agreement of 1988, which was led by Okelukano, and the Juba Agreement of 2007. And also in the High Court of Nobera Diera and 7 others versus Attorney General under civil suit application number 037 of 2006, and the latest civil appeal number 92 of 2022. Your Excellency, since this issue started, the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs in response budgeted for 200 billion to pay cattle composition in the financial year 2021-2022. I also want to highlight here that, Your Excellency, this financial year, as a parliament, we passed a budget of 150 billion, which will be used for the compensation of these lost animals. Out of this, Your Excellency, so far the money spent in the Acholi sub-region is 159.50 billion Uganda shillings, which was released to pay 159.50 was released for the compensation process of 28,281 claimants. And out of these, 4,836 were from Acholi sub-region, who received 44 billion Uganda shillings. So far, Your Excellency, the money spent on this compensation is actually 44 billion Uganda shillings in Acholi sub-region.
But I also would like to say, education is a very key issue in Acholi sub-region. A lot of our young people drop out. Yet if we want quality population, nobody should be left behind. All our children must access education, but because of poverty, our children cannot access education.
But I want to acknowledge one thing, Your Excellency, that in this region of northern Uganda, we have started now working together. Opposition, people in the party of NRM, the cultural leaders, the religious leaders, the opinion leaders. In fact, we are now working together on the issues of this region, Your Excellency. The entire one day was devoted by the bishops to study how they can work with you and government in mobilizing the Christians, not only Christians, the Muslims, and others, on wealth and job creation. And Your Excellency, I'm very happy to share with you now that the church, the mosques, the cultural institutions are now taking up roles to play in these two activities. In the Church of Uganda, in the province of Northern Region here, where there are 6 dioceses, Bishop Loum, who is seated here, is now the head of promotion of coffee growing in Northern Uganda. And he has started it, and they're really doing it. Every day he keeps demanding for the seeds and seedlings of coffee. And in all these areas, Your Excellency, we have had discussions with the cultural institutions and leaders in all sections. Your Excellency, I want to thank you very, very much. There's something in this region which they say, "Dor tuchute bul." Diri tuchute bul. Mean bull. The continuous beating of the skin of the drum. However hard it is, but one day it perforates it. At least your word now, your message on wealth and just question in this region, Your Excellency, has reached every household in this country, in this region. If there's anybody who has never heard your message, then he's underage, or he's either in prison, but I'm sure even those in prison have heard your message about wealth creation. What we have now to do, Your Excellency, is to continue working together to ensure that there's peace and stability in this region and mobilizing and including everybody in this effort.
In March 2022, Your Excellency, our President, you launched the cattle compensation payment exercise at Soroti University. A budget of 200 billion was made, and since then, we have received 159.5 billion shillings towards compensation. And out of the 159.5 billion shillings, the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs has paid out 158.31 billion, while 280.28 million has, the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, I beg your pardon, has paid out 158.31 billion to 28,281 individual claimants. A few payments have bounced due to invalid account details, dormant accounts, accounts closed, and other reasons. Sometimes you find when we look at the biodata given to us in the data cards, you find that the claimants are minors.
On cattle compensation, we commend you for settling the matter out of court in 2006, but the compensation process has been slow due to factors like corruption, both at local and national government level, and those people and other people and agencies responsible, which has kept genuine claimants waiting for too long. And also it involved ghost claimants. It is important to note that some claimants in Acholi have been paid more than 50% of their claims since 1994 through the Military Compensation Committee based in Bombo by then. Other claimants have received not more than 2,000 shillings since the process began. There seems to be some discrepancy in the list held by the government and that held by the warded claimants. This needs to be harmonized and made known to all stakeholders. We therefore suggest that government should expedite the process sequentially by, for example, first clearing the aged claimants of 65 years and above, and those with claims of 20 cattle and below, and then probably consider those with 50 animals, so that every financial year a certain category is compensated. It is my belief that in the next 4 financial years, the process would have been completed.
So we ask for your indulgence that you also consider those other issues which were not on the agenda. Mr. President, this is your meeting. You convened it in your capacity as the head of the homestead we call Uganda. This homestead has many households. You listened to complaints. There has been grumbling in the compound concerning this sticking issue of cattle compensation, and you directed that those who are concerned should meet you directly so that this matter is settled once